I got to do a freestyle joke, but first of all. Okay. As we rolling, they have been protesting in Los Angeles for freedom. And if you think their ass is protesting for free, your ass is dumb. Them white sons of bitches was getting paid. I don't know how much they was getting paid, $1,200 a protest, $200 an hour, some shit like that. They was getting paid and they didn't tell niggas shit. Niggas out there protesting for free. You got real American Mexicans out there with their American flags for free. Them motherfuckers didn't even get paid a taco. Them motherfuckers didn't even get a bottle of water. And these white sons of bitches come over here and get $100, $1,200, or $1,600 a motherfucking week, and niggas ain't got nothing. Look, if they would have told me that I could have got some money for protesting, like $16,000 a week, I would have been out there like fuck Donald Trump too. I would have took out my MAGA hat, my MAGA coat. I would have been out there with the album, fuck Donald Trump. I would have been out there with all that. For $1,600? I would have done it for $100. No, look, I would have told all the crackheads. I wanted the crackheads to get paid. I would have told all the crackheads, look, man, they out there protesting, and you can get $100. That would have helped the community out. $100 for crack and $100 to spend on crack. And that would have helped the drug dealers and the crackheads. Next!
President Trump is reportedly pushing for a crackdown on homeless camps in California.
Donald Trump is pushing for a crackdown on the homeless. And my grandmother is pushing for more crack houses on Crenshaw. That will probably add to homelessness. I think Donald Trump and my grandma gonna have a little conflict of interest. Add to homelessness. I think Donald Trump and my grandma gonna have a little conflict of interest.
President Trump says homelessness is destroying cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco.
So Donald Trump said he was gonna do something about it.
He's considering a new task force to tackle the issue. The president is spending a second day in California where government officials hope they can find bipartisan solution.
And with Gavin Newsome, that is not going to happen.
Governor of California and several mayors in the state say they are willing to work with President Trump, but they are critical of his administration's proposed cuts to public housing.
Well, me personally, I wouldn't oppose with a proposal for a cut on my baby mama. Preferably in her abdomen with a rusty steak knife. Next! Y'all can laugh, niggas. So do it again with a rusty steak knife. Stab in the abdomen.
Nearly half of all the homeless people living in the streets in America happen to live in the state of California. What they are doing to our beautiful California is a disgrace to our country.
A White House report released this week gave its reasons for increased rates of homelessness.
Besides my grandmother crack house on Crenshaw, give me some.
Including the higher price of housing due to overregulation of housing markets, an expanding supply of homeless shelters as a substitute for affordable housing, personal factors like mental illness and substance abuse, and a city's tolerability for people sleeping on the street.
So less houses and more shelters. Ain't that a bitch? The Democrats don't give a damn about the homeless on the street. Hell, the Democrats don't even give a damn about the rich on the street because the rich can't build without regulations.
But the people are willing to clean out their own debris. It doesn't cost a lot.
Yes, and they can.
You should let them do it because by the time you hire contractors, it's going to be 2 years.
So exercise your authority, bitch.
I did exercise them.
Because I looked, I mean, you have a very powerful emergency power, and you can do everything within 24 hours.
Yes.
But you really mean no.
I think you have emergency powers just like I do, and I'm exercising my emergency powers.
So exercise your authority, bitch. So exercise your and get the rich and the poor their housing. Next! Donald Trump tried to do something about this situation, but you sons of bitches wouldn't let him.
You have to exercise them also.
Well, what in the hell you think shelters are made for? What in the hell you think shelters are made for?
Responding to reports that the Trump administration is looking to move homeless people off the streets and into federal facilities, the National Coalition for the Homeless pushed back, saying federal efforts to criminalize homelessness or to create warehouses to move the homeless out of sight and out of mind are clearly not the answer.
Shelters for the poor and regulations for the rich. Ain't that a bitch? That kind of rhymed, didn't it?
We're trying to get a permit, and the permit's going to take them, everybody said 18 months. You said 18 months. You said 18 months.
If it's 18 months for the rich, how many months is it for the poor? And I'm not talking about shelters either.
Sources in the mayor's office confirm representatives from the Trump administration are in Los Angeles today in order to learn about the homeless crisis in Southern California.
But we don't need your federal help.
Today, Mayor Eric Garcetti sent a letter to the president, which begins by saying, "I appreciate your staff's visit to Los Angeles this week to learn about our city's work on homelessness." But it appears the White House is putting a different spin on the purpose of the trip. According to an article in today's Washington Post, President Trump has ordered White House officials to conduct a sweeping crackdown on homelessness, using the federal government to get the homeless off the street, demolish tent camps, and move the homeless into government facilities.
Not warehouse.
Some of the things I've heard are really concerning in terms of cracking down on homeless encampments and then relocating them to government sites. It sounds an awful lot like internment, and this administration does not have a good track record considering we still have children without their parents living in cages at the border.
Cages that Trump built?
They built cages. You know, they used to say, I built the cages. And then they had a picture in a certain newspaper. And it was a picture of these horrible cages. And they said, look at these cages. President Trump built them. And then it was determined they were built in 2014. That was him.
So it should be a red flag for all of us.
Who built the cages, Joe?
Let's talk about what
Who
we're
built the
talking about.
cages,
Let's
Joe?
talk about what we're talking about.
And not the truth. Next!
Well, it's going to upset a number of Californians to hear this, but the president was being accurate, at least based on the most recent data we have.
Nearly half of all the homeless people living in the streets in America happen to live in the state of California.
And majority of them is black men.
According to a 2018 study by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, 47% of what we call the unsheltered, that's homeless people who live on the street. They're not sheltered or living in temporary housing. Those unsheltered people, 47% do live in California. Although to be clear, overall, California only has about 24% of the nation's overall homeless population.
24% out of 50 states ain't bad. If your ass is playing parlay, next! But we know it was a bigger issue.
First, at the federal level, since 1978, HUD funding has been cut by about 50%, but that's nationwide. What's unique about California is how difficult it is to build here.
We rank 39th in the world for construction permitting, and approvals for infrastructure projects can take up to 10 years.
Between zoning laws and appeals and environmental reviews, it's just incredibly difficult to put up shelters.
Since taking office, I've signed one action after another to eliminate job-killing regulations that stand in a way.
To put up affordable housing.
I had a chart. Is that chart around here someplace? Did you have that? I have to show this chart to you because it's amazing, actually.
To put up any housing.
If you want to build a highway in the United States, these are some of the permits that you need. It's a process that can take way over 10 years.
And so what we have is a state that's been unable to really deal with that cut in federal funding.
And as governor, I think Gavin Newsome knows that.
And of course, our current governor is the former mayor of San Francisco. So he's both familiar with the issue of homelessness and the issue of difficulty building things.
And it just never happens. Then at the end of the period, they vote against it. And we're getting rid of many of these regulations. You have to go through 17 agencies, many permits in each agency.
But we know the Democrats can clean up a damn city when they want. Or what about Gavin Newsome?
And maybe that's a question you should ask China. Don't ask me, ask China that question, okay?
I know folks say, oh, they're just cleaning up this place because all those fancy leaders are coming into town. That's true.
We clean up cities when the hell we want. Ain't that a bitch?
The governor has released a blueprint asking cities and counties to address these encampments with a sense of urgency.
Because it's true.
And so he is absolutely on top of it.
But it's a catch.
He's employing what you might call a carrot and stick approach. So the carrot is money. The state has plenty of it. We had a huge budget surplus this year, so he's offering lots of money to counties and cities that need to build. And the stick is that he may withhold this money, and cities that don't change their zoning laws, that don't increase the height density, for example, that they're going to permit in various parts, are going to be missing out on millions and millions of dollars in state funding.
Wait a minute. Ain't that what dictators do?
So the hope is that the combination of those two things will result in some more housing being built and shelters being built.
Yeah, shelters for the homeless. Let them smoke crack in the day and give them somewhere safe to sleep at night. Ain't that a bitch?
What they are doing to our beautiful California is a disgrace to our country. It's a shame.
And Governor Newsome, lying ass, he said he was going to do something about it. How'd that work out?
As Tokes, our Caltrans director, said, we mean business. We want to be here for the long haul. This is not just episodic. This is not around election season.
The world is looking at it.
I said that a year and a half ago. I said, you're going to keep seeing me over and over again.
Look at Los Angeles with the tents and the horrible, horrible, disgusting conditions.
Not just when the lights are on, not just when the cameras are here. You'll see us out there doing our job. And this is the job. Keep the damn streets clean. Keep them safe.
The conditions in Nancy Pelosi's once great city of San Francisco are deplorable. They're deplorable.
Deplorable then and deplorable now.
The governor releasing what he is calling a model ordinance for local governments to use to address homeless encampments. And he wants them to address unhealthy and dangerous homeless encampments right away.
And I am mindful that we all want to be protected. Communities want to be respected, and people want to feel a sense of pride again. And this is where I want to see progress in this space. It is a big state, but we've never invested at the scale we will invest it in the next few years. We mean business. You're going to see progress. It will be demonstrable. Mark my words.
So what happened? That video was from a couple of years ago, and that shit done got worse because of California regulations.
Take a look. Let's jump into some video to show you some of those homeless encampments in our local area. The governor calling on municipalities to address encampments quickly and also using the authority of a Supreme Court ruling last year. That decision ruled local governments can enforce public camping bans against homeless individuals even if there are not enough available shelter spaces for them.
First, you got to get them sons of bitches off of fentanyl.
His office also says they're coupling this model ordinance with the release of $3.3 billion in voter-approved Proposition 1 funding to expand behavioral health, housing, and treatment for the most seriously ill and homeless in this state. The key provisions of his model ordinance are a prohibition on persistent camping in one location, a prohibition on encampments that block free passage on sidewalks, and a requirement that local officials provide notice and make reasonable effort to offer shelter prior to clearing an encampment.
And that money is keeping their ass on the street, not helping their ass get off the street. Next! But now Donald Trump is getting illegal aliens the hell up out of here. And guess what? Niggas are moving in. We want niggas to move in too. We love niggas moving in, but not according to Karen Bass.
I don't think the president understands that we have entire sectors of our economy that cannot function without immigrant labor.
What, the crystal meth and the fentanyl economy? Next! It's something big coming to Los Angeles in 2028.
Los Angeles is the face of the world today and a face of America tomorrow. It's one of the most diverse places, maybe the most diverse city ever in human history.
And that's why LA is hosting the Olympics.
So we're always been about excellence in California, and we want to bring the best games that have ever been hosted anywhere in the history of mankind in 2028.
Yet there are concerns that the unexpected victory of Donald Trump in the American presidential election may have slowed the favored city's Olympic momentum.
Bitch, how was that?
A lot of people will say it's going to be hard to top Paris. Did you see closing ceremony last night?
Wait till 2028.
Lay it out for us,
Snoop is
Governor.
just a couple miles away. You know, he's got a.
He's ready.
We know he's ready.
What, the light is damn weed with the damn Olympic torch? Next! LA got some big shit coming. Niggas better be ready. That was when Gavin Newsome was talking about, oh, we got Snoop. Snoop stay right down the street. We got Snoop coming to the Olympics. What, the light is down? I wish my baby mama would trade places with Jeffrey Epstein. I don't want that bitch dead. I just want her to stop breathing.
Some committee members have expressed concerns about whether this symbol of global unity is at odds with Trump's stance on immigration and trade.
My God, no, that's what we do best.
The president-elect has vowed to accelerate deportations of undocumented immigrants.
I mean, California is about innovation, entrepreneurialism, competitive spirit. Future happens here first. We're America. We're the world's common attraction. So that's the opportunity.
And an American opportunity, of course.
Mass deportations are out of the question, both logistically and I think morally. What we want to make sure that we do is point out the economic benefit.
Especially the economical benefits to niggas.
And already I talked to Casey getting off the plane. He already has like 5-6 new ideas, and we're ready to adopt and implement. We got unbelievable partners in the federal government.
Mayor Garcetti and other state officials have made it clear California will not cooperate with the federal government in any mass deportation effort.
Their ass is now ice, ice, baby. Dum, 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 dum.
I mean, you got, forget politics, but you got a former president who's taking credit for the games.
As well he should.
Members of the Los Angeles 2028 Olympic Committee, they've done a fantastic job in bringing the Olympics here. They called me when I was president-elect, Casey. That was quite a call. Yes. And they asked me if I could get involved because the other administration refused to call the Olympic Committee, which is the one and the people that make the decision. So it was a little hard for them to make a decision, and I did make the call, and it was a very long call. They were starving for love, and we gave them the love, and Casey, you and everybody else have done a fantastic job. We got the Olympics to come to Los Angeles, and that was a big moment.
So you're going to have unbelievable support coming from the federal government.
And we knew it right away. They really, they were fantastic people that I dealt with. But because of your dedication and hard work, the United States will once again proudly host the Olympic Games. How exciting is that?
Since Gavin Newsome didn't want to clean up the streets of LA, Donald Trump said, I'm going to do this shit. And he done it with the Olympics.
From the day I took office, I've done everything in my power to make sure that LA achieved the winning bid.
And now you're going to see law and order to make that bid count. Just like that sheriff in Florida say.
In our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street.
We're going to do something to your ass. You come over here and fuck with us.
If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies,
point a gun at us.
We will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. This has got to stop.
You're told.
That also what happened with my grandmother. Next!
You've obviously got strong support from the state, and you've got a region that does it better than anyone because we've done it before.
Now, for the third time in history, the city of Los Angeles, the city of angels, will once again raise up the Olympic torch and welcome the world's greatest competitors to the Summer Games. How exciting.
Especially for blacks with black jobs, not immigrants with immigrant jobs.
Why come here? What is your message today?
But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black.
But they are Americans.
Today our cities are flooded with illegal aliens. Americans are being squeezed out of the labor force and their jobs are taken.
And them are black jobs.
By the way, you know who's taking the jobs that are created? 107% of those jobs are taken by illegal aliens.
But Donald Trump gave them back to niggas with the 2028 Olympics.
And you know who's being hurt the most by millions of people pouring into our country? The black population, because they're taking the jobs from our black population. I hope you remember me in 2028. Okay, you promise, Casey? You
promise,
remember
sir.
me. At least give me a seat, okay?
Guaranteed.
If you don't mind.
And you deserve to sit on the damn throne. Go ahead, King. Next!
The fact is that his big kill on the black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking black jobs now, and it could be 18, it could be 19, and even 20 million people. They're taking black jobs.
Donald Trump gonna give black people jobs that Joe Biden took.
And you haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history.
But Donald Trump didn't let that shit happen, because then would have been immigrant jobs at the damn Olympics.
These games will also be a major economic victory. The 2028 Olympics will create 112,000 jobs.
I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs.
And Donald Trump took them back from their ass.
And add $18 billion to our economy at least, including $7 billion in wages for American workers.
And that's not an immigrant job, Donald Trump said.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And they're taking the employment away from black people.
The LA Olympic Committee is accomplishing all of this at no cost to the American taxpayer. They've raised a lot of money.
And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that.
They're utilizing stadiums that are world-class, that are already built. Something nice about not having to build.
And the difference is what's never been done before is happening here, and that is we don't have to build a bunch of new venues.
Who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
It's showing the hell can't be Elon Musk or Arnold Schwarzenegger. Them niggas is immigrants. Next!
A lot of things, but they're doing a fantastic job. I'll now sign a document pledging the federal government's total support of LA in hosting the 2028 Olympics.
Trump 2024, Olympics 2028, hopefully my baby mama tomorrow.
You've got all this investment that's already underway, that's already taking shape and place. And so the budget's going to be about all the benefits, all the enhancements to make this next level.
This game is LA through and through.
It's going to be LA, but we're going to redefine LA.
Right.
Quality of imagination, creativity, spirit. I mean, they're already talking about, flying cars at this thing, and that's not an exaggeration.
And there's going to be a lot of tourists, and you need security for that.
Already underway to execute the event with flawless precision. But to be successful, the Olympics must be secure. So the Department of Homeland Security and our federal partners stand ready to protect the 2028 Olympics.
So Donald Trump has been planning this shit.
It's a big deal, isn't it, huh? Yes, sir. It's a big deal.
Trust me. So get ready, America. Get ready, the world.
So rest assured that the department will be engaged on every front to ensure that the homeland, our people, and the Olympic athletes and fans are secure. And when I do say every front, I really do mean that, from cybersecurity to counterterrorism to immigration.
And guess what? Immigrants and the homeless got to go before 2028.
Well, I want to thank you for formalizing the commitment of the federal government. Your leadership from the beginning has been instrumental in us achieving this goal of bringing the games back to the United States. This is the third time for Los Angeles, as you mentioned. And our goal is to create a safe, successful, and secure Olympic Games, and that's not possible without the support you and the federal government have provided us. I promise you we'll remember you in 2028, to say the least, because it wouldn't have happened without you.
Niggas in LA, thank you in advance.
We're really excited about this.
LA 2028 is going to deliver.
It's going to deliver. It's going to exceed expectations, but while set a bar.
And why in the hell is these white people complaining about black jobs?
You know what's so funny? Everyone who felt comfy enough to out themselves that they voted for Trump back in January, they're dead silent right now.
And you dead wrong, bitch. Next! Niggas is loud right now because Donald Trump finna give niggas reparations. Well, we ain't loud right now. We finna get loud. Louder than we is at the movies.
How do we clean up LA's homeless situation before these games, and what do you see as the federal government's role in doing that?
Well, we had no role, but we're really taking a role in it. I see it. I see what's happening to LA. I see what's happening to San Francisco. I see what's happening to some great cities.
Apprehending them and taking them away from their families and their jobs and the lives they've built here doesn't bother you, then you're a bad person.
I don't want to be called a bad person if hating on the immigrants is wrong. Bitch, you can call me evil if that's the case.
And I've said to my people, whether they like it or not, we're going to have to do something.
I say this in the most disrespectful way possible as a first-generation American whose parent is not from this country.
Next! Bitch, you getting deported.
So
We're right now working in LA. They're also contacting San Francisco. They have to clean it up.
The attack that Los Angeles is feeling in this moment, if you are not sticking your head out for your own community, the city of Los Angeles in which you live, that you benefit so much from, if you can't do that, you do not deserve your platform.
And my baby mama don't deserve the air she breathes, but we're not talking about fantasies.
You have needles, you have things that we don't want to discuss all over the streets, flowing into the oceans.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but being undocumented isn't a crime.
Next! That was stupid.
And yet beaches, and it shouldn't happen.
I think it's important to remember that though what Trump is doing in LA is absolutely deranged.
And obviously your ass is stupid. Next! Donald Trump said he was going to clean up the homelessness and immigration by any means necessary.
And if they can't do it themselves, we're going to do it. The federal government's going to take it over. We're going to do it.
California does not really belong to the United States.
And my baby mama does belong in a zoo. Next!
So we're working right now with LA in particular, I would say, and the others are also sort of wanting to work along with us.
I would do absolutely anything for my daughter, and that includes going to a different country to give her a better life.
Iran will be a good damn place. Next!
But it's not thinkable what they've allowed to happen to these cities. Incredible.
This is one of those moments where silence feels really fucking loud, because what do you mean you're not absolutely horrified by what's happening right now?
Next! Horrified, bitch. I'm happy-fied.
What's your message to those that are resisting in terms of immigration policy in this state, especially talking about security going forward towards
Well, I think it's terrible. I think sanctuary cities, as you know, are very dangerous.
And that's why Donald Trump called in the National Guards. Chess, not checkers. Donald Trump was planning on calling the National Guards 6 years ago to clean up this shit.
Well, Kathy and Carolyn, earlier this week, Governor Newsome sued the Trump administration for what they called an illegal takeover of the National Guard. Now, a judge sided with Newsome today, but just hours later, an appellate court issued an administrative stay, saying it will take up the case on Tuesday to decide who constitutionally has the right to command the National Guard in this instance.
And that's why Donald Trump is Trump-proof in California.
You just look at some of the horrific crimes that are committed that wouldn't happen if you didn't have sanctuary for criminals.
Thanks to the protesters, they gave Donald Trump a damn excuse.
Los Angeles at the center of a legal battle between the Trump administration and California Governor Gavin Newsome. Thursday afternoon, federal judge Charles Breyer ruled President Trump unlawfully took control of the California National Guard over the weekend. Newsome praising the decision, saying the judge made it clear Trump is bound by the Constitution.
And with LA, San Francisco, and other places, but they have one thing in common, the leadership. There's no reason that this should have ever happened.
Today is a big day for the Constitution of the United States, for our democracy, and I hope it's the beginning of a new day in this country where we push back against overreach.
Our greatest cities, and number one, you look at the homeless and how horrible a situation that is, but also look what it's doing to your cities.
He is not a monarch, he is not a king, and he should stop acting like one.
It's so disgraceful. These are cities that 10 years ago were the most beautiful cities, and now people walk away and leave, and they just say horrible things.
In his 36-page ruling, Breyer claimed Trump exceeded the scope of his statutory authority by failing to issue the order through the consent or request of the governor. He also said that the protests in Los Angeles fell far short of a rebellion against the government, which would allow a president to take control of a state's troops.
Can't let that happen. So if they don't get it cleaned up fast, we're going to come in and do it.
Money seen, money gone.
He essentially concluded that this was an overreach by President Trump and that he was infringing on states' rights, states' autonomy.
Moments after Breyer's ruling was issued, the Trump administration filed an appeal, and just hours later, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals granted a stay, allowing Trump to retain control of the California National Guard in Los Angeles until at least the next hearing set for next Tuesday.
So Trump wins again. Niggas should be happy. What's up? If you enjoyed this skit and you want to see more skits like this, all you got to do is hit that donation button that's down there below. I'm high as shit. If you want to leave your tips for Frisco to answer your tips on the show, leave your comments below and Frisco gonna answer your tips. And I said tips. Yeah, he really gonna answer your tips. If you send a motherfucking donation, Frisco gonna answer their damn tips fast, quick, in a hurry. But we trying to get new cameras, we trying to get new videos, and you know how I do it. We're gonna give you shows, we're gonna give you video, we're gonna give you skits, we're gonna have more shows for you. The more you donate, as you know, the more we gonna do this shit. I'm out until next time.